you're happy when Drush, who can start and then make a nice goal. Is that what you had envisaged for tonight? Well, I did not think about one specific player. There are a lot of players who were on the pitch tonight, and when you're training, you think, well, there's a few players that you can use, and they were not disappointed, and they can lose. They now have been able to play, and it was a nice competition. So, like what you said yesterday, that you need to be courageous and forget the feeling after the last competition. Of course, we would have liked to win. It would have been good for the Netherlands if we could have the results. I don't think everyone agrees. Yeah, it's important because the game was not really important anymore. We would have liked to win. It would have been good for the points. But if you have watched the game, I think we can be satisfied. Yeah, after a few minutes, after 6 minutes, you must have thought, oh no, because we started really well on the game. We had the ball, we dared to play, and then you lose the ball, and there's again inside the goal. And I think, oh no, this is not going to be a repeat. But the players then did much better afterwards. I've got to say, at the beginning, I thought they were English and they were at home. And then I saw that there were two parts that were orphans, and they were there during the entire 90 minutes. Yeah, there was somebody who was inside the selection. Was it because he needed to rest, or Mauro was not capable to play? We looked if it would be possible, but it was too difficult. And Ismael, I did not use him for a different reason. He was too late, and it was not the first or the fifth time, and then I just left him at the hotel. He was always too late. Yes, we've got some agreements during the day, and then he doesn't turn up, and this was the X amount of time, and it was enough for me. Are there more consequences? Well, he has not been able to play during this beautiful game, and that is really bad for him. And next weekend, well, we just finished. It's difficult to say. There are some players, because you saw people that we had to exchange. Yerdi had to take him out during the interval. No, he could not continue. Medical staff advised me as well. So I would have tried to use Joey. I had some other changes, like Serginho. I would like to play him for 50 minutes. I might have liked to take out Hughes a bit earlier, and then he had to play because Ismael was not playing. So yes, there were some things, and the two central defenders that should be able to play for 90 minutes had to go off. And then also Richard at the end, we had to base it all on their condition. Experimenting, that's not maybe a nice term for today, but if you look at Drioech and Babadi, what did you learn? Well, you naming those two, but they did really well today, but also other players, Armando and Adamo, those are boys that have not played that much. Johan, he did it, but they got a chance to show themselves. Yesterday, you said that a 1-7, you need to experience it once to make sure it doesn't happen again. I seem to see that the players got that message. Yeah, you hope, of course, that you are ashamed and that you don't want to repeat it. And that's why I think it's really brilliant that after 1-0 that you can again become courageous. And I think it starts with trying to play football well. If you see you get possession, that you get to the other half via the keeper, and that you really need to go against those big English guys. You don't need to go into a football fight. You need to dominate footballing, because the Premier League is much harder than the Eredivisie. So we need to try to win in another way, and that is footballing. And you said that you're very worried about Schouten, but Jerdy Schouten, because he's not playing that well. What can you say? Is it his condition? Yeah, Jerdy has experienced a difficult time. It's also like for other players, he's starting to football more, and I think he's getting better with his condition. So you are not someone that everybody can arrive late once. It can happen. You had a turbulent European season with Liverpool, etc. Was it also an important experience for the players? How can you describe it? Well, you're eliminated. That's disappointing, but what's positive is what remains. And I think we've had some very memorable games where you can win with 3-2 at home with Shakhtar. Yesterday, I watched the game Liverpool-Paris Saint-Germain, and there we managed to equalize, and then you could taste how good this team is. And those are beautiful games that you play. And Juventus, the difference between the first time that we played against them and the home game where we really played well, and that you managed to eliminate a big club like that, but of course also very low point with the 1-7 last week. The contrast is huge, and that's why I'm happy for the feeling that we can play that this way today. Was this game a confirmation? Yep. For me, there are lots of confirmations. Footballing, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to dare. That's what we can do it. It's nice to see that the guys who got a chance today, that they took the chance. It's nice to see that after the time when you were behind, that you come back and that you score. And it was justified. I think we might even have been able to do better. That's very positive. You start the game really well. Together, you try things. Then after a few minutes, it goes well. And the first ball they try enters the goal. And then you think, wow, it's not going to be a repeat. And therefore, I say it's really admirable that they really managed to raise ahead and continue. And Rice then could score. Do you get worried? Yes, of course. But I think if we put the coach of Arsenal next to me and we start analyzing, then he will say, you should not lose possession of the ball in the middle circle. Yes, of course, on the one hand, we try to put pressure. On the other hand, they should not lose the ball. We want to get the ball on the sides. We did not do well. That's typical of football. If you had a good defense all the time, it would be 0-0. So the Champions League is now over. But can you tell me something about your experience? I found it quite special because towards the end of the competition, you started looking at the rankings and you started realizing that it could still change until the last day and whether you go forward or not. It was quite special, and I must say actually I quite enjoyed it. It was something different. A lot has been said already. Yeah, he had Rioch had made a good goal, but he threatened a lot. So maybe it could have been even more. But did you think, well, from the moment when we had 1-1, I was thinking about it. When they entered those 3 guns at the end, then I thought, well, they still want to win. And then you see that the tempo gets higher and that you get under pressure because the players who have not been playing that much, then it becomes hard. But I think that we had the most chances to win tonight without winning the trophy. Did you enjoy it? Or yes, I definitely enjoyed it because that guy is really open in life, in football life. I mean, he's not scared to play football tonight. That's also a disadvantage because before the interval he wanted to turn towards the goal and he lost the ball there. And I think he's 19 years old now. These are learning moments. And I said, you need to be careful here. This happened also when you were playing against Dortmund. You need to learn from this. But apart from that, he played a brilliant game. He managed to stay there for 90 minutes, constantly moving. I think that he made good choices during ball possession. He moved at the right moment. And technically, he's really close to the ball. Yes, it's all quite positive. But a moment with Babadi, that could be a red card. And in Dortmund, that could be, it's actually quite important during Champions League. That is true, but he's only 19 years old. And he's with us for the 2nd season, hasn't played that many minutes. And he made a mistake. He needs to learn. And I need to think at one point we lost the ball. I think it was a corner. And then he had a sprint duel with Yerdi, with their out player. And then he thought, no, I should not do it because it could become red. And that's based on experience. And you only learn it by playing games like this one. It's expensive, I know, because otherwise you would have positioned him earlier on the pitch. But I thought it was a decisive moment. You mean today? You could be reduced to 10 players. Yeah, I agree. I was talking about Sterling. Did you see it? What happened with Bakayoko? As Johan is fixed there, he breaks through everything and he's very experienced. That's what happens in football. Maybe we don't pay attention to this, but we've been saying, yes, we are a team, we need motivation. And then you don't allow a player to be on the pitch when he arrives too late. I don't agree with the fact that we are not a team. Otherwise, you could not play a game like today. I understand that players, when they're here and questions are asked, and they also need to give some explanation, and sometimes I dare to say, I don't know. And sometimes they say, well, let's just say something. And if you lose 7-1, then it's easy to say that we're not a team. But Boskali has disappointed the team, yes, and that's what happened today. And I think that's a very clear message to him, and I hope that he will learn from this. How do you do that with your children? Yeah, I'm serious here. How do you do that with your children? Because they also make mistakes, and you don't give up on them. But those are children. But these are my children as well. But these players have got a responsibility towards you and towards your team. But I also have got a responsibility because I need to help him, because it's a good boy. I mean it. He's a good guy. He's a nice human. A nice human being. And I need to help him. I don't give up on him. Okay. Sometimes a bit of pressure is needed. But he can maybe play on Saturday. Yeah, I need to be honest. This happened just before we left, at the end of the afternoon. And then you need to make a quick decision. He was going to play, then somebody else then needs to take his place. It was Huus, and then I thought it was necessary to take this decision. Mauro, is it worrying? Well, he had some complaints after the game, and we hoped that it would be resolved by now. And if it had been necessary, I might have been able to use him, but I didn't want to take the risk for this game and also not leave him on the bench, because I just decided not to use him, and to be honest, it's too soon to say something towards RKC. Yeah, you can see that's very different. That was also because when we were defending, we were in a different block with more space, and that is very good for Suhaib, but also for Ivan, because he's not a fixed attacker and he will move away from that position. That was very suitable for him. He's very different to Luc, and when Luc did this, made the header, that's what his strong point is. He was going to play for Sierra Leone. That's also his origin. Is that something that you discuss with him? And that you leave him out of the competition? Yes, I read it today as well, so I was a bit surprised. But I know that's his country of origin, and I don't know whether he wants this or not. I have not discussed it with him. And I will definitely discuss it with him, but it's logical that he will need to make the final decision. But you were talking about the Africa Cup. That's important. And if he would play with different clubs, it will be a point they will take into consideration. And how was the teamwork? The fact that Boskali was not present, I don't know, because like I said, it happened at the end of the afternoon. I first said it to Ismael and then to the others. So we did not discuss it because then we had to have discussion, go on the bus and eat and be on the bus. So I have not discussed with the guys. Was there some reaction from the players that were on the bus? I don't know what they said, but I have taken decisions before, and the atmosphere was brilliant. How did you experience it? Well, it was very special, sincerely. I said that we should always offer free tickets, because if that improves the atmosphere, then we should do it. This was really brilliant. That's why at the end, it is the end of the Champions League campaign. We all went to their area because I think those people really deserved it. And during the whole game, during 90 minutes, it really does something with a team. And the Arsenal supporters knew there was nothing to lose, but I only heard our supporters. It was a really nice atmosphere. I really enjoyed it. If you zoom out on these two legs, and if you look at the future, what is a lesson that you've learned? That you should never go below the limits that we've been during this first game. I know that maybe we cannot win against them, but it should not have been 1-7. So that under limit, we should not go there anymore. We have let ourselves down. The difference was too big. In top football, one of the most important characteristics is stability. And you hope that you might have something more positive, but definitely not as negative as now. And apart from Brest, we have managed to do this during the whole campaign. And we had 12 games, 2 you did not play well.
Please. Peter, were you pleased with your players' response this week after what happened in Eindhoven? And also, how do you look back on the whole campaign as a whole?
Now, obviously, I'm really happy with the performance today. I think the reaction was good. We played well. We were not afraid to play our position game, because if you play against an English team, physically, they will outplay you. And our quality is that we have a fantastic position game. We have technical players who are not afraid to play football. We didn't do it 1 week ago. And maybe that was my biggest disappointment, apart from the result. So today, from the beginning, I saw a team who was not afraid to play football. Everybody was involved, even the goalkeeper. And we play well. So, happy with the performance.
Bedankt allemaal. En, tot...
Thank you very much, everyone. See you next time.